Hey, what's up everyone? It's Mozaman here and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to try and break down the question that I'm sure every single one of us thinks about or is thinking about at least one point in their lives, and that is, should you buy or should you rent? Should you own your own home or should you just rent someone else's? Is it worth getting a mortgage these days? Well, I'm not sure you've noticed, but people seem to be obsessed with the idea of owning their own home. There seems to be a lot of pressure on people to buy a home, and it's like a joyous occasion when it eventually happens. I mean, people post it on social media. Hey, look at me and my boyfriend. Look at me and my husband. Just bought our first home together. So excited for the future, yay. And then they realize 2 years later, like I did, that they'll be paying this mortgage off for the rest of their lives. And that's no fun, trust me. I mean, it's almost got to the point where society tells us that if you don't own your own home, then somehow you are less successful or poor or somehow stupid for not getting on the property ladder. And that's just not true. It's absolutely ridiculous, and hopefully in this video I will break down a few things you want to consider before deciding to buy your own home or just be happy renting. So guys, if you like the sound of this video, then as always, smash that like button, subscribe to support the channel, it is always appreciated. So before we get into the detail, let's explore why we here in Britain, and I'm sure in other parts of the world like the US, are so obsessed with home ownership. I think it goes back to the fact that Britain essentially invented capitalism and speculation, and the US is like capitalism on steroids. We are taught very early on that we have to spend to make profit, whereas other cultures are taught to save and only spend what you can afford. We have this massive credit culture where we are willing to borrow huge amounts of money for things we can't really afford. Whereas other places in Europe like Germany and France, people are quite happy to just rent a home their entire lives. But also we have a culture where if you own something, then you can do whatever you like and you don't get pushed around. Landlords have consistently raised rent, and there are many restrictions to renting as well. Things like you can't paint the walls or make major changes to the house, etc. But without doubt, the biggest reason why we are so obsessed with home ownership is house prices. Here in London, we are crazy about house prices, and we have this ambition to get on the property ladder as early as possible, and then let's say 10 years later, that house will be worth double and we will all be rich. At the same time, the cost of renting in London is ridiculous, and people are just so put off by it that they rather have a mortgage instead of paying some greedy landlord. So no wonder we all feel pressured to own our own home, and why society thinks we are stupid if we don't. But as I said, I am here to break that thinking, so let's go. So to answer the question, should you buy or should you rent? You first need to figure out what type of person you are and what your goal in life is. In my mind, you can categorize this into three people, okay? Person A, B, and C. Let's start with person A. So person A is someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, a businessman or woman, someone who's looking to build wealth and assets. You should not buy a home to live in. You should rent for as long as possible and then buy when you have hit your goal and you are able to put down, let's say, a large enough deposit for a house, or just buy one outright. Here's why. If you buy a home, then you will have to fork out a large sum of money as deposit. That's money that could have been used to build your business, or money that could have been invested to make you money. You now have to make monthly repayments, which includes interest. That's a loss of monthly cash flow that again could have been used for the business or your investments. When it comes to business or investing, opportunities may come up that need acting upon quickly. When you have most of your money tied up in a house, then it becomes very difficult to act on that opportunity. Also, you are now locked into a mortgage for, let's say, the next 25, 30, 35 years. That's probably for the rest of your life. If you hate your job and want to quit, tough, you got a mortgage to pay. If you want to travel the world, sorry mate, you've got a mortgage to pay. If a business opportunity arises, let's say in another location, in another country, you can't just up and leave, you've got a mortgage to pay. And lastly, what if your business does not work out or your investments fail? You won't be able to pay your mortgage and end up defaulting. There's just too much risk here. But guys, let's now talk about person B. So person B is someone who doesn't really care about building wealth or creating a business, and just cares about having stability, a secure job, a nice place to live in and bring up a family. Then you should buy and get on the property ladder as early as possible, but make sure you pay off that mortgage within 10 to 15 years. Here's why. If you're just paying rent and not doing anything else with your money, i.e. investing or building a business, etc., then you're essentially paying someone else's mortgage and not gaining any assets or any equity in anything. If you have a stable, secure job and get a mortgage that you can easily afford, then you can make overpayments and pay off that mortgage early. I would say aim for 10 to 15 years, but no more than that. That way, you will eventually have no mortgage or rent to pay and are free to do whatever you like. Imagine at 25 years old, you buy a home and pay off by the time you are 40. You now at 40 no longer have to worry about a mortgage payment or rent or anything like that. Just look at the flip side of that. Imagine you didn't buy and just rented your entire life. Then technically you would need to have a job for the rest of your life, or as long as you want a roof over your head. Because that rent payment is never going to go away. You will always need a place to stay and you will always need to pay rent. I mean, who wants to do that? Okay, and finally, person C. Now, person C is someone who doesn't care about building wealth or a business, or even cares about stability or security, nor do you even want to be, stay in one place for a long period of time. You are a free spirit, essentially. Then you most definitely should rent and probably should never buy. Here's why. Since you're a free spirit, you probably don't want to be in one place for a very long period of time. It's no point buying a house. Secondly, you probably get bored easy and want to change jobs or try out different things. You probably don't really care about money much or earning much money, so you need to be more mobile and be able to change environments quickly. But just remember, if you are this type of person, then you always need money to pay for rent. So make sure you do save money along the way or put money aside for when you're not able to earn but can still pay for a roof over your head. So guys, there you have it. That's 3 ways I'll probably categorize people. And there's probably loads of other ways you can do it, but essentially most people fall into these 3 categories. If you're wondering, maybe you're not, but if you're wondering what kind of person am I, what kind of person, what am I doing? Am I buying or am I renting, etc.? So I think for me, I've always been person B. So I've only been person B most of my life. So I come from an Asian background, Asian family. We're very much focused on education. My parents very much focused on education, getting good grades, going to good university, getting a good career, good job, buying your house, having a family, all that stuff. So it's very planned and a set way of life that we're essentially told to live, okay? And I was very much person B for most of my life. And then somewhere along the line, I just kind of got a little bit bored of the routine, a little bit bored of the fact that I have to wake up Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, going to the same job. Kind of a little bit bored that you only have to wait for Friday or wait for Saturday to actually do things you enjoy. Kind of got bored of the whole corporate lifestyle that I was living, and so I'm very much a person going through a phase where I'm switching from person B to A. So I'm kind of becoming a little bit more independent. Some of the things I've done to help that change is I've moved from going from like a permanent employee to a contractor, a freelancer. So as a freelancer, there's a lot more flexibility in how you work, and there's a lot more choice around how many hours, or not hours, but how many months you want to work out of the year, etc. So that's one of the moves I've made to just make my life a little bit more flexible, so I can focus on other things like investing, this YouTube channel, and just seeing the world a bit more. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to just be fixed to one way of life. You can have changes. I thought for most of my life I was gonna go through this person B kind of lifestyle and just do that all the way through to the end, but it just wasn't for me. I didn't like it. I got bored, so I'm trying to change things up. Maybe you guys are sitting at home thinking, do you want to get yourself into a position where you're going to be stuck in a routine for the rest of your life? And that's what happens. That's exactly what happens to people who go and take out mortgages, and take out big mortgages and just kind of get stuck making those monthly payments for the next 20-25 years. So if you are going to do that, guys, like I said in the video earlier on, try and pay it off early, try and pay it off within 10-15 years, so you can be free of it at some point. Don't ever go into a mortgage or buy a property all because of peer pressure, or because people tell you, why are you renting? It's stupid, you're wasting your money. Do what's right for you, because if you do what other people tell you to do, you're never going to be happy with the outcome or the result. So that's my 2 cents there. So hopefully you guys found this video interesting. Hopefully you found it useful. If you did, leave a comment, guys. Drop a comment. Always love to hear what you guys are thinking, what you guys are doing. As always, hope you enjoyed it, and see you guys next time.